Hey, well, good morning. I'm inside this morning right now working on some of the small parts on both the Axelson lathe and the more speed drill press. And it is just about 7 to 7 a.m. And I'm going to head on out and do that body work, I guess you could call it, on those machines out there, the paint prep, which is always harder. The prep's harder than putting the paint on generally anyway. And it's proven to be true on this one. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm cleaning up the side here on this Axelson compound rest. It was really battered. And we'll have a look at that. And I got a really coarse square file here, and it bites into this material pretty good. Okay, I'll probably go over it with a lighter file, finer tooth anyway. Now, I'll show you what happened here, and I think it's kind of cool, and it's something to think about. Okay, let's have a look here. You can see where I filed that. Now, hold on. Chloe, knock it off. See, she's going to wake up the neighbor. I don't want that to happen. So, we're trying to be good neighbors here. So I got that cleaned up, and I'll go ahead and, like use Scotch-Brite or whatever and clean it up all the way. So let me flip this over. I'll put it back on the stand here, and I'll flip it over. It's a little bit heavy. I'm using this tool post to steady it. Let's see if I can get that loose. This is something you don't want to drop on your foot. Okay, there we go. I got that loose. Let's get this like that, like that. Let's see if I can flip this over and have it hold pretty good. It actually holds pretty good. Okay. We'll get back over and look at it, and I think this is cool. Now, this machine, you can see it's been hammered over the years. This machine's over 80 years old, and what's interesting about this machine, I have a little bit of history on it. It was purchased by the Footbird company that made drill presses. They made a strange radial drill press called the Hammond that kind of folds out, kind of different. But the drill presses that they're most known for is automotive manufacturing. They made drill presses for multi-spindle drill presses for drilling engine blocks. So the life of this machine at a manufacturer like that, I noticed on the taper attachment, it was generally set at, machine tapers. So this particular lathe has the most wear on the compound up here. It's like the Crosslight has very little. And it's not a problem on this. But, what I wanted to point out is that when you're accurately cutting tapers and stuff like that, it's really common to just dive in and start cutting and then start gauging your work and then tap it over with something. I used, whoever did this here years and years ago, probably used this lathe every day and just used a steel hammer or whatever. But that's another point. See if I can find that. I found if you're drifting something, a lead hammer is just, I don't think there's any substitute for one. And this one here was actually out of the Boeing surplus store. It's the last one I had. Bowen got out of lead hammers because one guy contaminated his family by grinding the mushroom off on a bench finder, if you can believe it. It was actually on the internet. You could probably still find it, but that's why Bowen didn't use lead hammers. But lead hammers drift things better like this, or the drifting something like this head here if you're truing it in. I just thought I'd point that out. Oh, I got a cup of coffee here, and I'm going to have a quick drink. That tastes good this time of day. So what I got going here is some of the small parts off the Axelson. Here's the taper attachment bracket, and of course, you know, the carriage stop. Now over here, this is what's not on that drill press, and it's not that much. You see, that's all the parts that are left to put on there. And you know, to clean up and stuff like that. Here's the rest of the nuts and bolts. You know, all that's got to be cleaned up. I've got the clutch and the feed handle, and this plate here, it has graduations. It shows in inches how far you've drilled. Then there's another cool chart I'll show you that goes above on the machine that shows allowance for the drill point in drill sizes. So you can drill a little further to get the full size hole, and it tells you there. One of the other, you know, here's the feed plate for the machine. It has 4 steps of 3 to 6 thousandths. And of course, I'll get these brightened up so they look good. And 3 thousandths is a pretty good fine feed. A lot of them are 4. I'm glad to see it's 4. Here's the speed chart for the spindle. It goes from 75 to 1500 RPM, and it's actually listing a 2-inch drill bit in alloy steel at 50 feet per minute. I don't know. That seems a little bit much for a 3 horsepower machine. I don't know if I need to push it that far, you know, without relieving it with at least a pilot hole. Just plow the thing right through. And what else we got? Oh, here's the plate. I don't know if you could see that. It's Pratt & Whitney, division of Niles Bement Pond Company, Hartford, Connecticut, sales representatives. And they have all these addresses, Cleveland and Detroit and stuff like that. And I believe this is the agency order number. So evidently Pratt & Whitney, I read that they bought Morris, the drill press company, at some point, then faded out the name in the 1950s. But this is a plate that was on it in the 40s. It appears early 40s. It's hard to chase an exact date down on this drill press. So these are the things I'm looking at here. Here's these are really slick, the little oil indicator windows. Got 2 of those. Then really nice glass windowed oil fillers. So those things gotta get cleaned up. And fortunately, none of this has been broken. So that's a good thing. And this here is the actual clutch or the shoe. And you can see how it's cut out, then it's cut right here. Then there's a cam lever that expands that. When you pull these handles up like that, you pull them towards center, then the clutch engages. You got your power feet. That's how that works. Yeah, oh, here's the little tag and the angle scale for the Carlton tilt table that's on there. That's a nice table. I'm sure glad there's a table on there. I guess if there wasn't, I would have got the machine. Now, this is what was broken. The guy that owned the yard told me it happened by accident at some point. He didn't like to really break things. You know, he's like considered himself the best, probably forklift driver, and he's really quite good. But somehow I think he didn't see it and snap that off. You know, that's not going to be a big deal to fix that. But that's the only broken thing. And I'm trying to think. The only thing I broke is a 1/4 inch by 20 screw that holds the electrical switch on. And so I got to drill that out. But considering, you know, that it's really pretty good. So, okay, I'm going to put this on hold right now, grab my cup of coffee, and come out here. Try not to wake up the guy next door, be kind of quiet. And I'm just going to start sanding and working on this stuff here, polishing stuff up. So I don't want to run too much time, but I just wanted to say good morning to everybody. And I know a lot of you out there are restoring machines, and I think we're kind of inspiring each other a little bit. You know, I don't know, but you know, don't get yourself in too much of a hurry. Okay, I'll be back. Bye-bye.